If you performed your daily bathroom routine this morning, you probably took for granted a highly advanced set of modern luxuries. You walked into a private, ventilated room with running water, sat on a porcelain throne, pressed a lever to make your waste instantly disappear into an invisible underground sewer network, and reached for a roll of soft, bleached paper. We treat modern sanitation like a basic, unwritten law of human existence. But for 99% of our history, these conveniences did not exist. There was no indoor plumbing, no toilet paper, and no privacy. So, how did ancient humans actually poop? What did they use to wipe? And how did our transition to modern toilets actually break our natural evolutionary biology? To understand this, we first have to look at the daily routine of a nomadic hunter-gatherer. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans lived outdoors in small groups. When someone had to use the bathroom, the solution was simple. They walked away from the camp into the bushes. In a nomadic world, this was actually the most hygienic, environmentally friendly option. Because the groups were small and constantly moving, waste never accumulated to dangerous levels. It was left behind to decompose naturally, returning vital nutrients to the soil. But they didn't just leave it sitting in the open. Much like other mammals, ancient humans likely buried their waste. They did this not out of modern politeness, but out of fear. In a predator-filled environment, leaving exposed waste was a massive beacon that signaled your exact location and tribe size to big cats and hyenas. Burying it was a matter of life and death camouflage. But when it came to cleaning up, how did our ancestors wipe before the invention of paper? They used whatever nature provided. In northern, cold climates, women and men used soft moss, wool, or snow. In coastal areas, they used smoothed-down seashells. And in grasslands, they relied on soft leaves or bundles of grass. But as humans settled into major civilizations, some truly bizarre, slightly horrifying wiping tools emerged. In ancient Rome, public latrines were highly social places where people sat side by side on long stone benches with keyhole-shaped openings. And to wipe, the Romans used a shared tool called a tersorium, essentially a sea sponge tied to the end of a wooden stick. The tersorium sat in a bucket of salt water or vinegar water between the stone seats. When you were finished, you would use the sponge, rinse it in the bucket, and leave it for the next person to use. Unsurprisingly, this shared sponge was a massive biological nightmare, acting as a highly efficient vector that spread intestinal parasites, cholera, and dysentery across the entire Roman Empire. Meanwhile, in ancient Greece, they took a much more aggressive approach. The Greeks wiped with pessoi, small, smooth, rounded stones or flat ceramic shards. If you wanted to insult someone, you could actually scratch your enemy's name into the ceramic shard before using it, literally wiping with your rival's name. In ancient China, before they invented the world's first paper-based wiping sheets in the 6th century, people used chugi, thin, lacquered bamboo spatulas, to scrape themselves clean. But the real biological crisis began when we stopped moving. During the Neolithic Revolution, around 10,000 years ago, humans transitioned to agriculture and built the first permanent cities. For the first time in history, thousands of people were living in close quarters, and their waste was piling up. Without nomadic drift to keep them moving away from their own refuse, cities became breeding grounds for deadly pathogens. This massive buildup of waste forced us to engineer our way out of our own biology. It led to the birth of the world's first sewer systems, from the incredibly advanced brick-lined drains of Mohenjo-Daro in ancient India to the massive Cloaca Maxima in Rome. But our modern toilets didn't just solve a waste problem, they also changed how our bodies function. Evolution designed your body to squat, not sit. When using the bathroom, inside your pelvis lies a sling-like muscle called the puborectalis. This muscle loops around your rectum, creating a sharp bend known as the anorectal angle. Think of this bend like a kink in a garden hose. It physically seals your digestive tract to prevent accidental leakage while you walk around. When you sit on a modern Western toilet, your hips are bent at a 90-degree angle, which only partially relaxes the puborectalis muscle. The kink in the hose remains, forcing you to strain, which leads to modern issues like hemorrhoids, constipation, and pelvic floor damage. But when you squat, the natural primal position our ancestors used for millions of years, the puborectalis muscle relaxes completely. The anorectal angle straightens out, opening a direct, frictionless path. It is the position we were engineered for. We built a modern world of porcelain thrones and quilted paper, trading our natural, healthy alignment for ultimate convenience. Your digestive system is not poorly designed. It is simply trapped in a sedentary world. The next time you use the bathroom, remember that your body is running a 10-million-year-old biological program that expects a deep squat and a village lifestyle. We didn't just build modern cities to escape the wild. We built them to escape our own waste, and we've been trying to get back in alignment ever since.